Quran is an amazing book of magic, magical powers, mystical powers. Yes, they say in Islam we should not practice magic, but the base of the religion, the five daily prayers, and the Quran is the biggest source of magic that there ever is, right? So I'm going to be discussing that in today's talk. For those of you who like the contents of my videos, please don't forget to press like and subscribe. If you haven't subscribed already, this is going to greatly help my channel to be able to reach out to more people and help, much more people. So I'm thanking you from the bottom of my heart. Thank you. So also, for those of you who don't know me, I am the blind Muslim yogi, hashtag the blind Muslim yogi, commonly known as the man from Oz, or Osman. My name is Osman, of course, and refer to man from Oz because I seem to have magical healing methods, right? So I'm a bioenergy healer on a master level with telepathic healing capabilities, specializing in critical care recovery and terminal illnesses, amongst a host of other physiological, psychological, and even spiritual ailments. And if you have any concerns, medical concerns, and that's troubling you, and you're suffering, and you want to consider a proven, ancient, non-invasive method that's over 1,000 years old, in energy healing, you can contact me for a free consultation, right? Visit yogawellness786.com, and you can even try out my 10-minute anxiety fix for less than the price of Starbucks coffee, delivered to you telepathically anywhere in the globe, just $5. Visit yogawellness786.com, right? Also, I'm a yoga and meditation teacher, having been practicing this art form for almost 50 years and teaching it now for totally for free for almost 46 years already. And in that period, I've studied under some great masters, but the uniqueness is from different schools of thought and different cultures, from the Far East, the East, the Middle East, the West, including these scientific communities. And I weaned out all the best of everything that I learned from all these cultures, creating my own unique protocols that are more adapted to the 21st century, making them basically faster, quicker, easier, more time efficient, and results oriented. To that end, I now have students in over 100 countries, and my favorite protocol is my 5-minute yoga and meditation program, which is absolutely amazing. If you don't underestimate its 5 minutes, it is power-packed, right? Power-packed 5 minutes. You can download it for free by visiting my website, yogawellness786.com. And also remember, my therapies are all natural based and not a replacement for medical treatment. So I say Quran is the biggest book of magic, and the 5 daily prayers is like the biggest act of magic, right? So they always say you can judge a person by judging those that he associates, his 5 companions or his 5 closest companions. Who are his 5 closest companions? You'll be able to judge who the man is and what his worth and value is, right? And his association. Who's my five companions? My 5 most associated companions is my 5 daily prayers, right? These I've never left. I embraced Islam 20 years ago. Till today, I've never left any of my 5 daily prayers. These are my 5 closest friends, because it is said that you establish a connection with God. When I pray and I feel that like my heart is speaking, right? My heart is praying. I feel like an amazing sense of peace coming over me. I can be in the worst state of stress, worst anxiety, the worst problems when I just pray. And sometimes I'm so heartbroken, and I just go and pray, and I tear in the prayer. The tears get wiped away, and I feel normal. I feel like I'm comforted, and the problem disappeared. I feel it like it's disappeared, right? It's the biggest magic, right? And there's words in the Quran, or there's chapters, complete chapters, and certain parts of it, you just recite that. It has magical effect. How do you think have such a high efficiency rate of terminal illness and critical care recoveries, right? Very, very high success rate, because I'm using these powerful incantations. It's part of me. I'm doing this, on a daily basis. They say don't practice magic, haram to practice, and it's the biggest book of magic, right? So let me give you some examples, right? So when I first came to Islam, and then of course, before coming to it, you have to understand my background, that I was fully awakened, right? I had my first Kundalini awakening at the age of 19, and my first Samadhi experience at the age of 19, right? So obviously, I believe in the theory of reincarnation. Not easy to this thing, experience this thing, because I was not initiated. I didn't do any major spiritual practice. I wasn't meditating. This is 19 years old. Of course, I practiced hatha yoga, physical yoga postures, but I also did martial arts as well, and physical. I was more consistent with physical fitness than with yoga postures, right? And I used to love jogging and playing tennis. These were two things, and martial arts, right? These were my go-to sports, and yoga as well, right? I was able to, until today, I practice it very regularly, including, fitness. I do one day fitness, one day yoga. And coming back, let me not detract, because I always try to go, I tend to go off the subject, because things are very exciting in my life, and but I harness the power of balancing all my energy levels. Now, to experience Samadhi, usually they say you can't have this without initiation. What is initiation? Initiation is as a guru that uses his spiritual power to break the three knots, the three spiritual knots. There's a knot in your root chakra, there's a knot in your heart region, there's a knot in the third eye region. That your own energy, is very difficult to break it. So to awaken your own spiritual power, you can be meditating from now till Timbuktu. If you didn't do some type of extensive, it's very difficult to break loose and have the awakening experience. So why are people having awakening experience left, right, and center, right, without doing yoga practice? Because they think they're not doing yoga practice. They think yoga is sitting cross-legged. No, you're doing mindfulness practice. You're on your device 8 to 12 hours, 16 hours a day. You are mindful. You're doing mindfulness practice. Mindfulness is keeping your mind on one thing, away from the past and away from the future, and somewhere in the present, something in the present, right? It's going to awaken your Kundalini, of course. And you awaken your Kundalini, you're not ready for it. Never balance your energies, right? And that's why there's adverse effects. And because it can take the wrong pathways. We're not going into that. Coming back to the Quran. So there were enemies that want to harm you, recite certain things. You can, overcome your enemies. You're in very difficult situation, and you feel like you're trapped. There's certain thing that the Prophet Jonah, or in Islam they call Prophet Yunus, recited in Canada. La ilaha illa anta subhanaka inni kuntu minadh dhalimin. So he was trapped in the whale, and he was reciting this, and he got released. So sometimes you feel you're trapped in a financial rut, or you're trapped in a situation where you feel there's no way out, and you're forced to go to this one company, and they got power over you, right, and control over you, right, and you want to release yourself from the control. So you have to have patience and faith, and you keep reciting it. I promise you, you're gonna come out of it. And another this thing is for removal of illnesses, right? أَمَّ يُجِيبُ الْمُضْطَرَّ إِذَا دَعَا يَكْشِفُ السُّوءَ وَجَعَلَكُمْ خُلَفَاءَ الْأَرْضِ إِلَّا مَا اللَّهُ قَلِيلٌ مَا تَذَكَّرُونَ is a full verse from ayat number 62 of the Quran. And if you want to pray for someone far away, like telepathic healing, right? You can lift you recite that and pray, but you only need to recite the first half of it. It has the power, of healing, sending healing, for the person, and the person will feel peace, will feel that, your energy coming, for them, and you can recite the, Ammi Jubal Mutarra right? So I know most of you are not Muslims, but the magic, the power, whether you're Muslim or not Muslim, it's going to work. You recite it often enough, you're going to get the power. That's like mantra, right? You don't have to be Hindu to get the power of mantra. You don't have to be Muslim to get the power of the Quran, right? Then there is, they say there's a chapter of the Quran called Surah Yasin. If you recite that every morning, right before you start your day, like after your morning prayer, it makes your day very easy. And I till this day I recite it every morning. In the beginning, 1 or 2 days when I felt I was too busy and I didn't have time to recite it and I'd go to work, man, was that day so difficult, and a day I don't want to experience again. Not that the day is different. It doesn't go and manipulate and change the day. It's just your experience of the difficulties of the day. You go smoothly through it, or you go. It's like taking a silk dress over a thorn bush, tearing through the day. Right? You're gonna go tearing, or you're gonna go smoothly gliding through the day. And I experienced it, right? So being on yoga practice, meditation practice before coming, on this thing. When I pray, I feel that there's a thing called khushu, right? In Islam, like your heart, you feel your heart is active, your heart is praying, right? Your heart is alive. So this is what I experience, in the prayer, right? So that's why it becomes stronger and stronger. This so it doesn't mean when you go and recite it, there's no power in it. You just keep the power will come out. It's there. Power is there, right? You're just going to take a little bit longer for you to, attain it. But try to find a go-to protection, whether you're Muslim or not Muslim, and gain the results of it. So when I used to listen in the beginning to Quran, in the live Quran, I used to listen to it on the cassette tapes and all that, and YouTube, and nothing magical. But when I, for the first time, was hearing someone reciting it live, man, I didn't understand. I don't understand. I mean, I understand a few Arabic words, right? The prayers and so forth, right? But I can't understand what's people have an Arabic conversation. I'm not going to know what they say. I'll capture just 1 or 2 words. I'll catch, right, in it. So I didn't know, and listen, I went into tears. It like moved me, and I don't understand. I said, wow. I noticed that after a few times that I always get moved. I said, but this is, I don't understand. How come? And you feel like a cleansing effect over you, like a spiritual this thing. You don't have to be, there's a lot of Muslims, they have this thing where they have this Quran recitation, live, the people are reciting. This is this thing, you don't have to go and believe in the faith and start praying and become a Muslim. Just experience it, from curiosity. And the one good thing in these recitations, they give you there's an amazing spread. There's the table spread after this thing. Amazing food you're going to get, right? Usually, right? Not so. Find out if there's food offered. It's free. Also, the food is usually free, right? You can go for the food and benefit. Benefit 2 ways. And of course, you're going to meet some Muslim people, right? Usually, Muslims are very wealthy people, right? You get some very highly successful, the oil sheikhs and all these things, right? They've got hidden stashes of money, right? That's not declared. And they don't believe in interest. So if they take pity on you and they supposed to give charity, they will lend you money interest free. So instead of going, it's so hard to get a overdraft facility or a credit card or a personal note from the bank, but a Muslim guy will give you 10 times that amount interest free, right? And they're not allowed to trouble you until you afford, according to Quran, you can afford to pay, right? So if you having difficulty to pay, and you can go through the difficult stages, they have to, give you respite until you are able to pay it back. And you just say, no, I'm very difficult. I don't have any means. They're all going to put you, repossess your assets, take away everything, and strip you of your dignity. No. Imagine that, right? So many benefits to trying these things out, right? So the Quran is a very good book. There's so much there that we don't know, right? If you study it deeply, there's so much benefits in so many things. So there is, they said the Fatiha is the Al-Quran, or the mother of the Quran, right? And Surah Ikhlas, the four lines, the 4 verses, that's the description of God, the verses that describe, it says it's very powerful. You connect with God, you get His mercy. If you recite those 4 verses and ask for anything, God will give you anything that you ask for if you recite that. So there is a period in Ramadan, there is one tradition that recommends, and I don't believe in one sect or the other sect. I listen to all the sects. You don't know who knows what, right? So they said if you recite do 10 sets of two, because the prayer is like 2 sets of bowing downs, right? And is 1 set, right? So you do 10 sets of that. In each set, individual, like the two double set, you do 100 of the mother of the Quran, and then the second round you do the 4 verses, right? 100, and do 10, 10 sets of that. So it altogether 1,000 repetitions, right? In this big great night, the greatest night of Ramadan, called the night of power, right? I said, okay, I will do it. Man, I could only do 1 set of two, right? I mean, 100. Lucky there was a wall nearby, right? It's called Laylatul Qadr, right? That night, I had to hold the wall. The power overwhelmed me. So you must understand, I'm also spiritually awakened, right? So it's very immense power, right? So why do you think, some people also calling me 666, but I'm doing everything, religion based. I don't do anything that goes beyond the boundary of, Islam. I only do things where there is actual physical benefit, because, physically there's a benefit, I do it, right? And if there's no benefit, I leave it, right? I don't do it. I don't do the things in yoga, meditation, or, that's not going to bring a result. I do things that bring a result, that's scientifically proven to bring result as well, right? So from a magical, mystical aspect, there's so many mystical, magical elements to the Quran. So remember, if you want to consider or try out my magical, I know I'm the man from Oz, right? I'm Osman, man from Oz, Wizard of Oz, right? The man who wields the power, and I use, my incantations for added, not only the energy, right? I believe that the true power is from the incantations, not from the energy. I used to heal people not using my energy. I used to just recite, these verses, and the people used to miraculously heal just by reciting it, right? So you can connect with me for a free consultation. If you have a physiological problem, psychological problem, or even a spiritual problem, right? Visit yogawellness786.com, and you'll get my contact information and more information about my services there, right? And remember that you can even access 10-minute anxiety fix for less than the price of a Starbucks coffee, just $5, delivered to you telepathically any location you are, right? So again, yogawellness786.com. You can connect with me and try it out, right? Hope that information helps you. Take care of yourself always.